Hello and welcome to Meet Our Makers, an artist interview podcast produced in association with Beats Per Minute. I'm your host, Jeremy J. Fissette, and on this episode, we get to meet Peter and Bjorn of Peter, Bjorn, and John. Sadly, John could not join us for this conversation, but I was very happy to have Peter, Moren, and Bjorn Yttling to talk for a little while about the great 2006 album of theirs called Writer's Block. You've probably heard it, or at least heard one of its lead singles, Young Folks, which co-stars Victoria Bergsman of The Concretes and Taken by Trees, and really kind of took the world by storm for a minute back in the mid-2000s. And the album turns 20, actually this year, 2026, this month, August, as I record this intro. And in this chat, Peter and Bjorn and I really get into the inner workings of this record, what led to it sounding and being what it became, and why they think it really has withstood the test of time, as I agree, it really has. It's at once weirdly very 2006 and also very timeless. If you go back and listen to it, it really does kind of feel like it's still happening now. It was really cool to get to catch up with the people responsible for an album that kind of defined an era of my young adolescence and many of our young adolescences, and kind of get into the history of the band a little bit, why they kind of almost split up right before Writer's Block, and how the collaborative spirit of Writer's Block kind of helped make it what it is and make the band a little different going forward in a good way. The band is on track to continue touring in celebration of this album's 20th birthday, and we talk a bit about what that's been like, kind of revisiting this whole album front to back on stage. Some of the songs have rarely, if ever, been played, so it's a really good conversation. They were very conversational, talkative, ready to share, eager to talk about this great 2006 album, which again just turned 20 years old. So if you haven't heard it or haven't heard it in a long time, please go check it out. So thank you for listening. This is me meeting Peter and Bjorn of Peter, Bjorn, and John. Thanks for coming and hanging out for a little bit.
Yes.
No problem at all.
Before we dive too deep, can you guys just sort of say hi and who you are so people know who's talking?
Sure. This is Peter from Peter, Bjorn, and John.
And I'm Bjorn from Peter, Bjorn, and John.
Great, thank you. And we are sans John today, but that's okay. We are going to soldier on and have a chat. I'm glad you guys could come through. I mean, the main reason we are here is to chat about Writer's Block, your third record, which you are on the precipice of touring in celebration of its 20th anniversary. Its 20th birthday actually happens very soon, August 14th.
Interesting.
Yeah, I didn't realize how close it was either, but I looked it up yesterday, and it was it's in a few weeks, so we're coming right up on it.
Great.
So with this kind of tour, I mean, I know you guys played some shows with this in mind last year too, and now you're doing it again this year. You have dates in the US and Mexico in October, correct?
Yeah.
Yes. So with this kind of moment for you guys, I mean, what does it mean to you? I'm curious, as a band, as artists, to approach this kind of milestone and take it on the road.
I think now we're getting used to it, but when we started rehearsing, there was a lot of songs that we never, maybe once or twice had played previously. So it was kind of, and also when you play it after like in a normal setting, like you play because there's another record coming out, you play songs, then you always like want to maybe incorporate the sound into the current sound. We wanted to look back and sort of play it as it was on the album, which was interesting because we listened more carefully to it and heard like, oh, this is guitars doing that, and so that was really interesting and fun.
I mean, is it a tricky thing to kind of like get back into the mode of this record as an entire piece?
I thought that was actually beneficial
Mm.
for some of the songs that we have played. Like there's quite a few because it's a popular record.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of songs we almost always play. But then, as Bjorn said, there's a couple that we haven't played for ages or never.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually thought that the songs that we usually play kind of benefited of the whole. Um, not the concept, but sort of having their brothers and sisters around them, sort of made it shine even more, and it reminded us, or me at least, of how good the songs are as a group. So yeah, I thought it was great actually. They shine in each other's company. So yeah.
Yeah, and also we looked into the songs we knew really well. I think we listened to them as well again, and like, okay, this is maybe it's not a different instrumentation, but there may be a different vibe to some aspects of the arrangement or whatever, or, that you realize actually that it's really good on the album. So I think we all felt that there's some stuff that sometimes gets forgotten when we play live. So I mean, there's good stuff when you rearrange and do and sort of play songs in a different way too. But it's good to. It was great to like look back into the blueprints and the old scripts, so to say. Like to like what the originals were recorded.
Yeah, I was curious about that specifically too. Like, there are songs that you must play as you say, Peter, almost always, like Young Folks or Up Against the Wall or things like that. But like, you don't listen to them every time you go on tour, right? Because they're so ingrained in what you guys do. So then to revisit them and in their original format must have been interesting.
Yeah, but then the one you mentioned, Up Against the Wall, that's the one where we kind of doing a live version, and it's kind of the big jam moment. So that doesn't sound like the record really. It's different every night. So that has become a life of its own during the live shows all of these years. So there are certain songs that we haven't abandoned our live versions completely.
I mean, there's still. I mean, it's interesting because that song on the record is also sort of like a live version. It's just it's sort of like, I guess it would have been the same but different if we made it half a year later or something. Like
Right.
it's more like section after section. It's sort of like it's sort of like a, I don't know, dub reggae thing. It's just like something that happened at that moment. So, but some other songs have more intricate arrangements and stuff like that. So I think it was interesting. Maybe like a song like The Chills that we're playing more now than we ever maybe did. We felt that song, for example, was really strong in its tininess not tininess, but like its arrangement that it had on the record. And we never really trusted that arrangement before. Correct me if I'm wrong, Peter, but now we felt like it's supposed to sound like this, and it's all great. It's just like sometimes it didn't feel as powerful as the other songs when we played it 10 years ago or something like that.
Yeah, we never really, figured out how to play that live. So we tried like different weird versions, which was fun too. But maybe we're better as well. There's the possibility that we have a easier time recreating it now than we used to. But yeah, it always felt a bit too chilled out. Pardon the pun, but yeah, yeah. So
Of those ones that I mean, so The Chills is probably one of them then that you haven't played too much, as you say. Of the ones that you played very few times or maybe not at all. I mean, was it hard then to now, 20 years on, kind of figure out how to do them in a live setting since it wasn't just muscle memory?
Um, mm, no. No, it wasn't that hard. I think actually it was easier than it used to be in some ways, like
Mm,
maybe because a bit more years in our a bit more experience. I don't know.
yeah.
I think also it's a mental psychology thing that you're more relaxed and you're trusting that people want to hear what's on the album. You don't have to
Yeah.
like, is this cool or enough or like, you know, so
Yeah.
but then it's also, I mean, there's maybe like roll the credits has some more of a layered thing, but most of it is like guitar, maybe a little bit of overdub from a piano, and then it's bass and drums and vocals. So it's not like the trickiest album to adapt.
Yeah. I mean, you say that, but it is also a pretty diverse record. I mean, the instrumental palette, I guess, is pretty straightforward, but it does kind of move through all these different, moods and modes across the 10 songs.
I mean, it's not. Yeah, it does for sure. But it's and it's not the easiest. Uh, I mean, like Objects of My Affection that we played a lot has a great 6/8 pattern on the drums,
Mm-hmm.
and we have the same pattern on the roll the credits. And I don't think maybe not 95 or 100 drummers would be able to play that in a like dynamic in a dynamic great way. So but since John did it on the album, it's easier to do now. But
Yeah.
it's not like the main 1A basic bitch drum beat for example, or guitar
Right.
stuff that is kind of in. But since we did it once upon a time, we can sort of do it again, and it's but it's definitely a quite varied record.
Yeah.
Roll the credits is tricky for playing guitar because it's got this this what do you call it? I don't know. This strumming
Tremolo,
this
strumming, yeah.
tremolo strumming pattern. So
Mm.
it's really hard for your shoulder. Like at least I it's kind of, I'm glad that we're not doing that every tour.
Yeah.
But because it's quite
Yeah,
intense.
because it's
Yeah.
quite long too. It's like
Yeah.
7-8 minutes. So, and you're doing the
All the time.
It's like the
Yeah.
mandolin vibe. Yeah.
Yeah, no. So that's quite tricky. And we're not like bringing in, if we would recreate it exactly, then we would have maybe like a percussion player or a extra guitar player or,
Mm-hmm.
piano player. We're not trying to do that. We're still playing as a free piece. We do use a sampler for certain sounds. But we're trying to like, I think what Bjorn meant was maybe more like the feel of the recordings and rather than trying to recreate every sound,
Right.
it's more like the basic feel of the rhythms and the style.
Right.
And then of course, there's guitar pedals, which is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do some sounds there. Yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned, this is a pretty popular record of yours. It's, it might be 20 years old, but I do think it's still sort of a pretty beloved record. I'm not sure that you guys would be touring it if it wasn't. I mean, people are excited about these shows. Was there any sort of pressure you guys feel like last year, maybe when you were kind of gearing up towards playing this specific record in full, or did it come sort of easy?
Well, it's easy because we don't have a new record out, so there's it's it's kind of a good timing for that. So it doesn't have to be like we should play the new songs from the
Right,
new
right.
record, and so it's of course it's easier if you do that. But you mean like in what ways do you mean it would
Like,
be
was
hard? I don't know.
like, I guess, did you guys feel any sort of responsibility specifically to playing this record, or
Uh,
felt pressure about playing these songs?
No, just I
Uh,
think doing a good show,
Yeah, yeah,
not letting the record down,
right, right.
and what makes it easy in a way is that it is really good. Like I really think all the songs are really strong, which there might be songs on other records where you don't like every song. So I think that
Yeah,
that makes it easier. But and also just meeting people, in their teens or in their early 20s who would never be able to see this back in the day,
Sure.
who got into us much later. So that's kind of the reward,
Yeah.
that you know people actually get the chance to see this live. So it's kind of a service we're we're giving to the fans,
Yeah.
sort of. It's not like personally, I'm not nostalgic like that. Like I like a lot of old music, but I'm not really. I'm always more interested in writing new songs. But
Hmm.
but this is a theater presentation. Like we're kind
Right.
of, yeah. So
Right.
yeah.
yeah, and also if we would have done the first album, I don't think we'd make money for the flight ticket, to
No,
the
no.
States even. So,
Yeah.
but it would be interesting to play, like, just for your own, like, listen to stuff. But I mean, you don't. There's a reason we go out and play this record. Of course, maybe we
Yeah,
can
of course.
play some other record some other point.
Yeah.
No, it's and people listen to the record still. It's we're very grateful for that, and it's amazing actually. And
Yeah.
just I don't know, like my son, he's 11. He got a text from some friend of his, like, oh, your dad's song was on Hitster, like the board game that they play with the. So it's like people, it's still around, makes
Yeah.
it's making an impact still.
Yeah. No, I mean, I definitely still encounter songs from it out, in the wild in public. It's definitely still in the lexicon of what gets played.
Yeah.
Um, it's interesting thinking about the crowds at these shows. You must, like Peter, you just said, like you must notice people across generations. I mean, there are people who have been with you for 20 plus years, and there are new fans who are, just discovering you, who, like you say, would never have been able to hear these songs. Um, so it must be kind of a cool cross section of people
Yeah,
to observe.
it's maybe a 50-60 year span of people coming in to the
Yeah,
show. So it's like some 18-year-old and some 78 years
yeah.
old, the same show when we did it in May. So it's, and people, and we went to Jakarta in Indonesia, played before Christmas. It's a totally different, culture and environment for sure, but people knew the lyrics,
Mm,
and we go to different places. Just like, it's interesting how
yeah.
our sort of like Stockholm. Well, I mean, we were in Stockholm when we made it, and it's lyrics about our daily life and
Yeah.
stuff that happened. It's just like, and it translates to people like 20 years later and 20,000 miles from
Right,
Södermalm in Stockholm. So it's crazy.
Yeah.
right, right. So yeah, let's dig into the record itself. It is your third record, and it did. I would assume, I would presume you guys would agree with this. It did feel like a bit of a turning point for you guys in terms of, at least in terms of acclaim and visibility. I think it was the first time a lot of us stateside were kind of keyed into your work. Um, did you feel that at the time? Was that something you guys noticed when Writer's Block came out?
That it was different, or that
Yeah,
we,
that
or that how it was received, or
yeah, did I guess, like, did it feel, because it's often called, writers like to call it like a breakthrough record or
yeah,
something
yeah,
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
yeah,
No, yeah,
Like,
of
did
course.
you
100%.
did you guys notice that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it was
I mean,
funny.
it was
It
a
was
big,
funny.
big change.
It was a big
Yeah.
change, but it's funny, when we made the record, no one, and we tried. It was fully made, and we mixed it and everything, and no one wanted to put it out in Sweden. So that was
Mm.
the same as on the early records. So
Yeah, 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 yeah,
it
yeah.
was no
Oh,
different.
interesting.
And actually, I think before that, didn't we get someone to put the second album out in the States? Like,
Yeah, yeah, a bit later, I think, like a year
was it,
later. It was
or
a
was it
small
later?
label.
Was it later than Writer's Block came out, or was it
No, no,
before?
no. It was like 2005, I think.
Okay, so it
So
was before anyway. We had a
it was
little
before.
we
some
had a
small
little
label put it out in the
breakthrough.
States.
They maybe sold 500 copies in the
Yeah.
States, and
Yeah.
but what happened was immediately when we forced a friend to put it out on the label, and when it came out, I mean, we definitely saw online that people were interested in it, like MySpace, and maybe was there Facebook at the time? No, maybe not.
Maybe.
No, I don't,
but
yeah, maybe.
MySpace, we definitely there was a great deal. It was a great deal, but people from everywhere, and especially the States, I guess, and the UK.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, was it the first time you guys felt like you had reach outside of Sweden?
Yeah.
I think we played one show in London before that, which was fun.
Okay.
Before we made it there, then we shared one bedroom and at
Yeah.
the hotel.
Yeah.
And we played like 3 shows in Norway. But apart from that, I mean, we hadn't even broken through in Sweden. We were kind of, we're playing small university venues and small clubs and support shows, and yeah, it was nothing much happened. So it was a big change. I mean, the thing was that we've told this before, so it's no secret. We were thinking about splitting up the band before we made this record. So I think that mindset that we kind of, or we said like we make one more record, and if no one cares, we break up the band. I think that was the idea.
Yeah.
So I think that affected how we worked on the record. That we were a bit more, on one hand, we were more planned because we talked about how to approach the recording and have some rules or dogmas around it, and meetings about arrangements, sort of. But on the other hand, I think we were really relaxed because it didn't really matter, so we could
I
try
think the
try
rules
anything.
that was mainly because we didn't have any money to sort of like, we couldn't, just record a lot of different versions and blah blah blah. We didn't have money to do that, so and also like breaking up the band, it was not because we didn't break through or earn a lot of, it was more like we couldn't even get like 2 gigs in Sweden without like making a big effort. And it was we were kind of tired, like, and we put out the first one was on a mini micro label, and we got some help, but on the second one we got no help, so we had to like do everything. It was just like getting tiresome, like doing like ordering CDs and blah blah blah. Everything was so a hard push all the time, like just to get like one show. Even like at a shrimp boat in Stockholm, we were like getting someone canceled, so we got in there. We couldn't even get like it was tough, like a 30-person venue, like on a shrimp boat. It was like we couldn't even get that.
So maybe this is I don't know if this is a ridiculous question, but what do you think was so different about Writer's Block that it did lead to that big turning point in making you kind of a more known, a more successful band?
I mean, it sounds very different. It's kind of out of its time. That's also fun to look back now when we're performing it again. That it with hindsight you might say, yeah, this is typical early noughties or something. But is it really? I don't know. I think it sounds like it could be from any time.
Yeah.
It's a bit like just off, which makes it happening. That it's kind of timeless but weird, and also I don't know, it's just something about the sound. And I think that's partly what Bjorn said, that it's recorded in an apartment or like a space that wasn't a studio space really. But also that we talked through arrangements, like we decided we weren't going to use cymbals, like there was going to be, we were approaching the drums more like as a sort of like hip hop, as even though it was played live, it was more like a sample approach, so it was the same beat throughout the song. Which like on earlier records it was more like we played the songs live and then we recorded them, so it was much more dynamic performance style, and this was more like created in the studio. So I think that was it was a bit more thought into the actual sounds, which I think made a difference, and maybe some of the songs as well, maybe because we had nothing to lose because it was quote unquote the last album, so we kind of bit more vulnerable as well, and like in the lyrics, and a bit more, I don't know, it's just something, yeah, I don't, yeah, which I think later might have been hard to, trying to follow this up. It might have become a bit difficult because it was sort of this now or never, but at the same time, it doesn't really matter. So it puts you in a mood as a band and as people. So yeah.
Yeah, and also I want to add that we didn't strive to make hits on this album at all.
Exactly. Yeah, just good music. Yeah.
Yeah, but we strive to make like we listen a lot to like nuggets collection, like those like 60s nuggets things where they pick out songs from the 60s, and we listen to like great intros that was all over those albums, and sometimes we realized that the intro was the best part of the of the song sometimes. So we decided that we wanted intros, a lot of cool intros, and then we wouldn't stray so much from the vibe on the whole. So like, for example, like let's say we did like Amsterdam or something like that. We had or Paris, we had like a cool intro, and then we kept like the vibe. We didn't go into a different. So that in that sense, there was a little bit like of a hit making, but we didn't make the songs. We already had the songs. We didn't make the songs to become hits at all. Like, but we definitely wanted like an impact on the arrangements and like how a little bit more coherent style than on the previous albums. So that I think, and also like we took away like a tambourine. We didn't want tambourines. It wasn't cool. Everybody used tambourines, so we looked for other. That's why the bongos came up. Like, and we didn't want like cymbals on the one when you go into a chorus. It's not cool. So we had like something else, smashing like or something, and we didn't have, I don't know what we just didn't. We didn't have a lot of different guitar sounds. We didn't have a lot of different piano sounds. It was kind of, so it made it more like, as Peter said, like maybe more like a hip hop would, it would be. We sort of made a song that would be sampled later, which
it was,
it was. So it was, and also we at the time, I think, because if we would have tried to make like a hit album, we would have made like garage rock, like the Hives, or or like French house, like Daft Punk or something. That was the big thing at the time, or like the bluesy sound of like White Stripes or something like that. So which is maybe also garage rock, if I come to think. But so we did take like ingredients of the whole the pop history and like cool stuff that we thought was cool. So yeah.
And I mean, at the time, I mean, yes, those genres were kind of what was turning the most heads. Maybe it was definitely like the mid 2000s was definitely a time of Scandinavian music kind of leaking out into the rest of the world. Beyond, even the garage rock bands. I mean, you had a lot of indie pop and folk bands coming out. I mean, we'll get to young folks, but I mean, even Victoria's old band, The Concretes, stuff like that was starting to kind of trickle out over here. It was definitely like a right time, right place. And yet you're right. Like nothing on Writer's Block feels like hip, but it doesn't feel like unhip. It feels like it's striking this really careful balance of, taking bits and pieces of what's happening right now, but also like not actually doing any of those things.
I don't think we were interested or even knew what was really going on in the States, actually. At the time we knew that, of course, I was playing Caesars. We were touring. It was like and the Hives was doing well, and but we were listening to stuff like maybe. I mean, what was big is The Knife and stuff like that. That was sort of like cool radio department. It was like cool,
Right.
stuff like that was sort of like making. But we were just listening to what we were. We didn't pay attention to the Billboard list or anything. So
Right.
it wasn't. It wasn't really. It wasn't meant to be.
No, I mean we listened to as Bjorn said, the old garage rock, but also I remember when we talked about this record in some other interviews, and you start to remembering what sort of like references you were talking about when you were making the songs and like listening to sounds. And there's like these old Brian Eno records from the 70s. There's like John Cale records from the 70s as well. His solo records, stuff from those we were inspired by. There was some beat from a Peter Gabriel record. There was like 80s indie, like the New Zealand scene, like the Flying Nun bands.
Chills and maybe television personalities, stuff like that.
And some shoegaze stuff, and also there's always this, we always have the 60s influences and old folk singers or whatever, and soul stuff, and so it's all over the place, but it's not one thing.
Yeah,
it's the history of music. But I think one thing is that Bjorn was alluding to is that we used kind of, if there was like a nylon string acoustic guitar that we used on one song, we used that on a lot of songs. And the same like with the piano that we distorted, we used that on a couple of songs, even with the whistling or if there was a sound we used on one song, we used that on a bunch of different songs. So I think that kind of frames the record. That's nothing. That's what you do when you make a record. But I don't think I knew that at that time. But kind of now, that's
No, but it was more that sometimes you get very creative and in your fantasy, and like, I would have a church organ, recorded in New Zealand. It's like, but that's gonna break your budget big time. Or even like always like picking out different amp and a different guitar or different bass. Like if you do it, you get a little bit. It's sort of like. You don't do what you're supposed to do when you're recording. You're just like getting a different gear all the time. So I mean, for us, it was a little bit like that on I think we tried to avoid that to like make it more smooth and cheaper and faster. So I mean, that was and then we had a little rule, like if we had a sound, we should try that first before we tried a different sound, maybe on the piano, as Peter said. So and usually when you try a sound, that worked well, like so we didn't think first, we played first.
Right. Did the record come together quickly?
It was a bit odd. It was a bit on and off. I know we did a lot during the summer of 2005, like a year before it came out, because it's a really hot summer in Sweden. So it was a lot of like walking around in flip-flops and having ice cream, and because there's water everywhere as well around where we lived. So there's a lot of water in Stockholm. So there's a lot of swimming as well. And then maybe doing something in the studio. But I can't remember really when we started or when we finished, because it was in Bjorn's space. We didn't go to an actual proper studio.
Right.
So it wasn't like, okay, we have this week, or, it was a bit on and off. So I don't exactly remember if we did. It was like, do you know, Bjorn, did we start in the spring, or did we like?
I think we did what you said, like some sessions. This is sort of like a basic thing on LPs. You do like a couple songs and then you work on them, and you do another batch and then maybe a third batch. And I think I was on tour with the Caesar, so I knew during the year too. So I know I had some files, in the computer in the tour bus, and like up against the wall was like edited over maybe in the winter, and then we had the last batch was probably in the spring. I think it was like Objects of My Affection and Young Folks, and maybe another song too. But there was Young Folks was in the last batch that we recorded and finished in the spring. Yeah, so maybe it wasn't like we didn't like spend hours and weeks but it was laid out over the course of a year, maybe.
Yeah. You mentioned Objects of My Affection being one of the last songs. It is, of course, the first proper song on the record after the intro track, and it's maybe the loudest, rockiest song on the record. It definitely feels very shoegaze influenced with the sort of blaring guitar. It's such a like rousing kind of welcome to the record, but I feel like I saw that you guys are actually closing the writer's block set with it on tour. Is that so?
We did it last year at least, and we have been doing that
Okay.
most of the shows, because it's also a sort of a set closer anyway.
Okay.
So it fits, and we were kind of discussing how to present the album live when we did this last year, and that was one of the things we kind of had a problem with, because a record is one thing and a live show is a completely different thing.
Yeah.
The way you set it up. So playing this from the first song to the last song, I think wouldn't work at all. Not the kind of live show we do anyway, but which is are kind of generally quite energetic.
Yeah.
So we just played it in reverse. I don't know how we're gonna do it this this fall, but that's what we did. And in general, I thought it worked really well, because also that means that Young Folks is the second to last song,
Right.
and no one's gonna leave too early, you know.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
yeah,
I thought about that too. Like, people, artists, bands across all time have often, closed or almost closed with their sort of, most popular song. And
yeah.
playing the record in reverse gives you kind of like a built-in excuse to do that, which is nice. Although I feel like opening with Poor Cow that's an interesting opening.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
it's cool though, like to hear the record that way. It recontextualizes it, I think.
yeah, yeah.
So looking at the liner notes for this record, I was sort of struck by I hadn't realized just how collaborative this record was across the three of you. But you are almost the only three people on it outside of mixing and mastering, and of course Victoria's guest vocal. Um, and you play different things, you sing different parts. Sometimes all of you sing on a track, sometimes one of you sings on a track. But I was especially interested in how the writing duties seemingly were split up pretty evenly across the three of you. Um, maybe John wrote this song, Bjorn wrote this song, but Peter sings this one, even though John wrote that. Like, is that sort of like that balance as collaborators and partners? Was that how you guys had done it before, or was that something you were kind of trying for writer's block?
It was a bit new to be, that diverse, because like on the first two records, um, me and Bjorn wrote the songs. I don't know, like 60/40, or I don't, yeah, we sort of, and maybe there was a couple of songs on both records that we wrote together. But John hadn't, and also Bjorn sang on like, I don't know, 3 songs or something.
Yeah.
So, but John hadn't brought any material to us before, and we actually encouraged him to come with songs. So I think the story is that the songs that there are on this record, I remember, because he did really like advanced, elaborate demos. That is almost like it's his demo CDR. I have it somewhere. If it's still playable, I don't know, but it's actually like a record of itself, because it's really like sort of course, very lo-fi, but it could have been released as a record, because it's very listenable, and he can play all sorts of instruments. So it's kind of has this sort of, I don't know, Elliott Smith, like early Elliott Smith quality, where or some Guided by Voices, something like that, where it's very lo-fi and homemade, but still really good songs, and a lot of good parts. So those songs were on that, and also some songs we used on later records. So there's a lot of songs, but he claims that those are his first pop songs or his first like indie rock songs ever. So
Yeah.
I don't know if he's lying, but they're really good. But I mean, we changed some stuff in them, but that's what we always do with all of our songs. Like we sometimes we add parts, sometimes we take away parts, and we work
Yeah.
on the arrangements together. And I think it became more collaborative, even more collaborative on this record. But then after this record, we kind of continued like this more,
Yeah.
and we didn't even put out like we just put all the songs to Bjorn and I because it became too complicated to say who did what on
Right,
every
right.
song. Yeah. So even to a
Yeah,
point. Yeah.
yeah. I think we maybe decide. I don't know if we decided to like bring in songs or like 4 songs each or whatever. I don't know. I can't remember that, but I don't remember that. But we decided. I know the vocal thing was like I was more like Peter. You should sing more, and Peter was more like you guys should sing more. But for example, like Up Against the Wall, we felt maybe that I don't know why, but it felt like because you're singing on that, it's a John song that you're singing, right?
Yeah.
It was depending on the lyric too, like how you felt,
Mm-hmm.
and then we
And the
split up.
style of the song, maybe
Yeah, the
like,
style of the song
like, yeah,
too,
yeah.
and also like we split up. Like Amsterdam, I'm singing the verses, and Peter comes in on the pre-chorus, and then we sing the chorus together. And also that's a song of mine. And then like let's call it off is also like harmonizing.
It's almost like Everly Brothers. We sing together all the
Yeah, so
time. Yeah.
that's my excuse. I hide under
Mm-hmm.
Peter. So it's quite diverse, and I think maybe a little bit of a Beatles idea maybe
Right.
to, or Popsicle, a Swedish band or something like that, where a few people sings different
It's
songs
nice
in
on
the band.
on an album. I think yeah, like the Beatles albums, it's really nice when you listen to an album and there's different vocalists.
Right.
I really enjoy that, and that's also a reason why you do duets sometimes because you get tired of hearing the same person all the time, and it's not always even about the quality of the voice. It's just like different styles and
Yeah.
different, yeah. It's just because the voice is an instrument as well, so it kind of makes for a more diverse, interesting listening. Sometimes, not always. I mean, it depends on what mood you're in, but
Mm-hmm.
it can be a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of duets, let's get into Young Folks for a minute. Um, this is kind of the song that sort of tipped the scales for you guys, at least in terms of over here, and maybe internationally too. Just kind of like it was the one that really stuck. It's the one that we would hear at the store. It's the video that we would see on TV. Um, and it's also one of those songs that's sort of recognizable right away. Um, you mentioned intros earlier, and this one has a great one, and even just the I guess it's the bongos at the very start. Um, it's immediately identifiable what song it is. And then of course you have Victoria Bergsman of the Concretes and Taken by Trees singing on there. Um, when you made this song, you said it was one of the last songs, if not the last song you guys really had set for this record. Did you have any inkling that it would go on to have the life it's had?
No, not me anyway.
No,
I'm
no,
Bjorn, but I
no.
don't think. No, we wouldn't have. If we knew it would be like a huge hit, we wouldn't have made it like 4 minutes 40 seconds. That's way too long,
I was thinking about that earlier today too.
just stupid. And also, we wouldn't had, you know, halfway through the song, there's the beat changes, which we just realized when we listened carefully to it now, and we again, it's just like it changes the beat. It's just stupid. And also we I don't know if we had some backing vocals that we didn't we forgot to put in at the end. It was just like stuff like that. We just
Yeah.
maybe so. But at the same time, we wanted the great intro. We wanted great intros on all the songs. So so it wasn't like we treated that differently. But we didn't rehearse this song, I think. I remember now that Objects of My Affection, we had a couple different versions on that song. So we probably worked on it, over the course.
Maybe we played it live even at some point. I don't know.
We played it live as well when we opened up for the Caesars in Sweden.
And
we made like maybe two. So that we went out and then we went in to re-record and blah blah blah. But the young folks, we never even rehearsed, I think, because it was more like it was, it started like a piano idea for the Yttling. I made a jazz album with a band called Yttling Jazz, and I was making a song for that, and then I felt like, oh, this is too jazzy. it's too much Duke Ellington. So we switched over to making it playing on a guitar, like doing that melody. So I think we never rehearsed it and just got the beat in, and then we worked on the lyrics, me and Peter, in the studio, and we recorded all the stuff. And when Peter sang all the parts, and we decided we wanted duet on the album, like, I don't know, like Fairy Tale of New York or something. I think that was the idea, to make a back and forth
like a conversation, sort of cinematic. And
then we looked for like singers to do the other part.
I was gonna ask, how did you end up finding or deciding on inviting Victoria in?
Can you remember this, Peter, who we asked?
Did we actually ask someone else, or no?
We asked Nina Persson, but she didn't answer. Maybe she didn't answer, and she didn't want to do it. No, I don't know. But it was someone else we wanted to ask, like Martha Wainwright or something. I don't know, or something.
Maybe some great international.
Person. Let's get someone international that we can get some exposure on.
Right.
Blah blah blah.
Right.
No, because we were thinking like businessman in the, but But already then, no. But I don't know. We just some cool like indie or whatever, or like someone maybe someone from the States or UK or something.
Yeah.
But we didn't get anyone.
Now the thing was that we played some shows with the Concretes during those years, like after our first record, and it was kind of the same scene, if you can call it a scene, in Stockholm. We were all hanging out at the same places, and they were like 12 persons in that band.
Yeah,
there were a lot of people, so you always saw like one or two of them somewhere. And when they released their debut album in, I don't know, 2003 or something, I can't remember, we played at their release party where they had like a couple of different bands playing, and they asked us to cover one of their songs. So the same day we rehearsed a song called Teen Love, which was from their earliest EP or something, an early 12-inch they made. And we played it that same evening, sort of like in a punky The Jam version or something, Undertones version. And then we decided, this turned out really well, so we're going to play this every night, every gig, if there's one in the Concretes in the audience. and since we were all friends, and as Bjorn said, there wasn't a lot of people at our shows, but there was always someone from the Concretes, so we started playing that song every night, and then eventually we released it on our second record, Teen Love, and we still play that song today. It's a good live song. So I think it felt like they were always around. So eventually it's like, let's just ask her.
Yeah, but it was also, I can say this, that I produced some of the Concrete stuff, but at the I'm not sure if like Victoria was leaving the Concretes at the time, or something.
That a bit later, wasn't it?
Was it later? Yeah, maybe, but it wasn't really, because maybe, but anyway, we knew her, of course, and we were hanging out the same places, and I produced anyway one song with her on vocals in the Concretes, but then I produced more stuff with her, not on the vocals, on vocals after she left, but that was maybe later. But then we, I mean, we liked her style of singing, so we asked her, and it was easier. We got her, and we recorded her vocals on the Midsummer's Eve of 2005, I guess. Yeah.
But we had to change the key. We had to like, what was that? We recorded it in another key, right?
We recorded in a different key, and we couldn't get like you and her to sing like, you know, to match, you know. So we had like pitch up or something, all the instruments, and I think so. Then you're singing sort of like you're singing kind of high, I guess, but not super high, but she's kind of singing low. So that's also like a trade of. I mean, it's a production trick that you came by chance, but so everything's like sped up. I mean, not sped up, but pitched up.
Yeah. Over the years, you know, after this song became kind of this like internet hit, the music video was playing on TV. I assume it quite quickly became pretty much a staple in your live set. Did you guys ever like turn on this song? Like, was there ever like resentment for it, or kind of like you wanted to leave it behind? Because like I know that happens sometimes when people, you know, have like a quote unquote biggest song, you know, maybe they come around to kind of not want to do anything with it anymore. Did you guys ever have that with the song?
Yeah, I had it, especially when we did a Living Thing, which was like the follow-up album. And they was still mostly interested in young folks.
Yeah.
And I just felt that, oh, it's enough of this, you know, let's move on. But now it's been so long, so it feels more like a standard and something that you're proud of have been a part of, you know. And I guess I know like the Radiohead situation with Creep or something where they actually build something bigger afterwards, so they don't have to play Creep. But I mean, and I don't know, maybe we didn't do that. So, but I mean, you know, I don't feel any anger towards it now. But it was a period when you kind of, yeah. There are people who don't play their biggest hits, and maybe that's cool. Maybe it's not. I don't know. I haven't decided.
I think there's a lot of people that play their biggest hits too.
Yeah. Most of them
like
do.
Frank Sinatra or you know, John Lee Hooker or something. But BB King, you know. But I know that I heard there's stories like. I mean, you don't have to be cool to not play your big hit. Like the Rembrandts, for example, they played like they did the Friends song, and they played it like first in a stupid version, and then everybody left from the show. So like I know you can be cool anyway, and also I know there's a lot of I'm not a fan of Radiohead, especially myself, but I know there's a lot of fans that want to hear Creep too. So whatever. But it feels great. People know love that to hear the song, and they come up after like, you know, I graduated to the blah blah blah. It was in, you know, on my wedding, or you know, my friend that, you know, died. Listen to this all the time. I know stuff. Life changing stuff where we were a part of.
That's amazing.
Also other songs too, of course, that they had, like Objects is a big one for a lot of people in Amsterdam maybe too. So I mean, it's just like there's more people heard young folks. So I mean, and have a relation to that song. So I mean, now it feels like it's how it is, and it's just cool.
And it's almost like it's not ours; it's like everyone's, and that's kind of nice too. It's just it's its own thing. I think part of that resentment might be that. For me, like the situation of the band, that the song is so huge, and a lot of people don't make the connection even. Like most people have heard that song, like almost anyone you ask have heard the song, but they don't know who we are.
Right.
And they don't really connect to the rest of the catalog, which is quite big at this point. And we have ourselves to blame a little bit because of the video, which are cartoons and have nothing to do with the song or the band really, but it's a fun video.
It is.
So that's part of the reason, I think. And also I think it's kind of, even then, maybe not as much now because we made such a lot of music in different styles, but back then it was kind of, it sounded different from our other songs as well. So it's kind of hard to, I understand if people like that song and don't like all the other songs because they sound different. It's not like a typical Peter Bjorn and I song, really.
Yeah.
But that's part of the charm. But I think that's kind of what sometimes turned me against it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
I mean, what we should have done is make like 2 more of the same style and call it like old folks and bad folks and good folks, and
could be a whole series.
I mean, there was there's there's a lot of examples of that in rock history, and I think it's not that you remember all of them now, but they probably made a good some of them made a good Billboard entrance. When you do something like that,
it's like the Four Tops, it's the same old song, that thing, which is kind of Can't Help Myself backwards or something.
Yeah. So you have 9 dates for this specific leg of the tour, following the dates from last year. Like we said earlier, in October, you have dates in US and Mexico. Are there plans for any more dates for this specific tour in the works?
For like the writer's block thing?
Yeah.
I think it's an open, if people asks, and I think we're up for it if it fits with our life. So I mean, we toured this record last year when it was 19 years old, which is kind of doesn't sound like a cool anniversary to me. Now it's the 20th. That's much cooler. But I mean, there's no problem playing it when it's 21.
No.
Either. So
why not?
So we can continue. No, there's no set, like, I don't know. We haven't talked about it, but yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything else in the works or not at the moment?
As a band, I mean, we recorded a couple of songs, but I don't know if we're gonna finish them. We haven't talked about it.
There's some stuff we're not sure, like, but it's been quite a lot with this thing too, and we have probably some stuff we have some stuff lined up in the spring. Maybe not in the US, but we'll see. It's gonna be. It's a labor of love. We got to be in the right, place at the same time and the same people.
Yeah, it's a lot of coordinating.
I mean, now we got to be in the right space, the mind space too. All of us. So that's the part. But we'll see.
Yeah.
We like playing the songs, so maybe make some new songs too.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited that you guys are doing this at all. I was sad. I guess I missed your couple of Northeast shows last year. I think I came to the news a little too late because I'm up in the Northeast.
All right.
But I'm sure you'll come back around someday.
For sure.
But I'm excited you guys are doing this. Obviously, it's a very beloved record. It is sort of like weirdly timeless. It has a timeless quality about it still, but it still resonates with people. And I hope that you guys are noticing that as you take it out on the road.
Yeah, we surely do.
Yeah,
it's wonderful.
So thank you guys, Peter, Bjorn, for talking
to
me about this big record. I mean, it's a big record for a lot of us, myself included. So I really appreciate getting to kind of dive in with you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Take care, guys.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.